All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rachacha Kodash. Double honors to the head apostle, now this great millstone who rule well and teach well. Peace and blessings to you, sincere Akim, that are pushing this truth all over the four corners of the earth, week in and week out, in all truth and sincerity, and shalom to the elect. This is the brother Mattathiah from the GMS Virginia camp, coming to you through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Yahweh being the true, holy, and powerful name of the Heavenly Father. Yahweh Shai being the true, holy, and powerful name of his only begotten Son, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus and Christ. Bahashim is in the name, and Lord willing, this will be an edifying lesson. And the title of this lesson is going to be, We Are Approaching the Hour of Temptation. We are approaching the hour of temptation. For those of you who do not know what the hour of temptation is when these elites of the earth persuade the masses to take a micro C-hip somewhere on their body, whether it's in their hand, their arm, their leg, or whether it's a Neuralink or a BCI, okay? Getting microchip technology surgically inserted into the mainframe of your brain, okay? You know, we're not going to, touch too much on the Neuralink, but you can do your research for yourself, all right? Let's go to 2 Ezra 15 real quick, and then I want to play this video. This is 2 Ezra 15 and 1. It says, Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord. And Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai has put the words of prophecy in our mouth, and we were out there on the highways and byways, on the various different media outlets, YouTube, etc., the airwaves, pushing prophecy, okay? Prophesying against this kingdom, prophesying of what's about to come. And this is a major prophecy right here concerning the micro C-hip, okay? The M.O.T.B, the hour of temptation. And the majority of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, they are going to fail. They're going to consent to Esau Edom for various different reasons. To stay a valuable member of society, to keep their job, to keep their house, or an attempt to keep their job and their house. Because we know everything's going to crash, everything's going to fall. You know, for various different reasons that Esau Edom is going to persuade to the masses, to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Esau Edom is going to use Hollywood. He's going to use various different podcasters. He's going to use movie stars. He's also going to use men and women that know that they are Hebrew Israelites, that wear fringes and garments, that consider themselves teachers, that consider themselves, believers in the Most High, right? To persuade you Israelites to take that micro C-hip. It says, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. And we're getting closer and closer. You see the various different things that are happening in different regions of the earth. And that's a hint to show you, a clue, that the M.O.T.B is very, very close to being rolled out on that red carpet, like I like to say, okay? So without further ado, let's play a little bit of this video. And the title of this video is, You'll Be Shocked. Over 50,000 people have received a micro C-hip implants. Pay attention, okay?
Happening, or has it already started? Look at this headline closely. Should states ban mandatory human microchip implants? A new report examines the rise of preemptive bans on mandated human microchip implants, noting that 13 states have recently enacted such a ban, despite companies currently requiring the technology. The Carnegie Council for Ethics in International Affairs.
And just the fact of the matter that states something that's coming down the pipeline, right? And there's going to be, which I believe there's going to be some type of a black swan or, some type of major event that's going to happen, a catastrophe, to persuade the majority of people on the earth to give over and ultimately receive Esau's device. Okay.
has released a report entitled The Rise of Preemptive Bans on Human Microchip Implants, looking primarily at how some states are preparing for an increased prevalence of this technology. Let's stop
Yeah, they're
there.
preparing because this is what's coming down the pipeline. All right. You're seeing various different things in, the stores, technology, camera systems. All right. Even the technology that you use day to day, your TVs, your smart TVs, your phones, everything's smart. Okay. 5G, 6G, robotics, artificial intelligence, these smart cities. Okay. Everything is being geared for the M.O.T.B.
For a second, pay attention to these words. Looking primarily at how some states are preparing for an increased prevalence of this technology. Microchip technology is no longer a theory or some form of breakthrough.
Yeah, it's no longer a theory because you know people are receiving these devices, and then the devil is in the business of perfecting this technology over the years because you know these micro C hips have been around for some quite time. Okay, but now we're at the level of people getting actual implants in their brain and speaking about it. It's persuading others to receive them. Okay, talking about how much is a convenience, talking about all the various different things that they're able to do, that they're more better of a person, how they're able to communicate with people that other people that have Neuralinks and BCIs. All right.
Tech. It's an expected reality. Some states in America are already planning ahead in terms of how to deal with this technology, which is soon to come. Notably, more states in terms of how to
Yeah, you see that right there. Well, that's the delivery system for the M.O.T.B. Let's get that real quick because these devices that are implemented outside of a Neuralink or a BCI, being wired surgically to your brain via a robot and AI. Okay, this is how it's going to be introduced into the body when you receive it in your arm, your hand, your shoulder. All right, let's go to Revelation, the 13th chapter, and let's go into the blue letter. All right, this is Revelation, the 13th chapter. Let's go down to verse 16. Matter of fact, let's read it first, and then I'm going to go into some of these words. This is Revelation 13 and 16. It says, "And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a charagma in their right hand or in their foreheads." Okay, now I'm going to go into a couple of these root words, especially the root word uh, Karax, concerning the delivery system for the micro C hip. Okay, bear with me one moment. Now let's go into that word mark real quick. Okay, Strong's G 5480. Charagma. Charagma. All right, Charagma. It says a stamp or imprinted mark. It says of the mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand as the badge of the followers of the Antichrist. Which there's not just one Antichrist. There's multiple Antichrist. Okay. It says a brand upon horses, things carved, sculptured, graven work. So this is a physical thing, right? It's not something you think about in your mind. It's not sin. It's not sleeping with a white woman, all right, or all these other various different things that these leaders of these other camps tell you that it is. Okay. Now let's go into some of these root words. Let's go into what you actually see on the screen concerning the delivery system for introducing these micro C hips into the body. This is Strong's G5 482. Strong's G 5482. Charax. 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 Okay. It says a pale or stake, a palisade. Palisade. It says pails between which earth, stones, trees, and timbers are heaped and packed together. All right, so this right here is what they put these devices inside of, and then quickly and quote unquote painlessly insert them into your body. And as you see right here, you know, the hand, just like we read in Revelation, the 13th chapter. Okay. And what's going to be contained on these devices is all your information. Okay. Your ID, your credentials, who you are, what you've done, your history, your medical records. Okay. Your money, your bank account. All right. Your tax information, all of that. For you to even exist in society, this is going to be what is required. Okay. Let's go to the root word of that, which is grapho.
Strong's G 1125. Grapho. Grapho.
It says to write with reference to the form of the letters. It says it says paper or other material, tablet, to write with reference to the contents of writing. Here's a good one right here. It says to commit to writing things not to be forgotten. Write down record. Okay. Very, very important information. Information that you keep piled up in a safe. Information you keep stored in certain, uh, you know, online or computer folders. Sensitive information that you just don't tell everybody. Well, that information is going to be all on these devices. Okay. It says to write one by writing to give information or directions. Okay. It says compose. So that's, part of what is going to be contained in these micro CHIPs. But there's a lot more than what meets the eye that, the powers that be are not telling the people concerning these micro CHIPs. All right. There's technology that this devil has inside of these devices that are ultimately set to control the ones that receive them. Okay. Let's jump back into this video.
Deal with this technology which is soon to come. Notably, more states are enacting preemptive bans to prevent employers from requiring that their workers be microchipped. U.S. states are
Yeah. So you see, you have various different, people in high level positions trying to fight against, what's coming down the pipeline. You heard the statement that this individual that made this video said concerning, a requirement for certain employees, you know, to have micro CHIPs to work at certain business establishments. Okay, because soon it's going to be a requirement for everybody. Soon it's going to be a requirement for you to have a job, for you to drive a vehicle, for you to have a driver's license. You are going to have this device. Okay, let's go to back to Revelation, the 13th chapter, and now let's read the 17th verse. It says, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the charagma or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So there's going to come a point where this is going to be a requirement. It's not no longer going to be an option. Okay, it's not going to be, well, you can, hey, well, look how great it is. Look at this. You should take it. Why wouldn't you want it? Nah, it's going to be a point where after they push to persuade the masses, they're going to take it a step further. And that's how Esau Edom operates. He works in steps. He works progressively. Okay. Soon it's going to be like, hey, well, guess what? You got to take it, or you ain't going to be able to have a house. You got to take it. You ain't going to be able to eat. You got to take it, or you're not going to be able to have a job. Moreover, further than that, you got to take it, or we're going to throw you in prison. We're going to throw you in jail. We're going to cut your head off. All right. We're going to put you to death if you're not willing to receive it. That's the direction that this earth is headed in. And through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, the men that Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai set all over the four corners of the earth have gave you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans warning, okay, to not take the M.O.T.B. and going into actually what the M.O.T.B. actually is. actually is, from the apostles and elders of Great Millstone on down. Okay, it's not some numbers just written on your forehead like these so-called Christian pastors like to persuade their congregation, right?
Increasingly enacting legislation to preemptively ban employers from forcing workers to be microchipped, which entails having a subdermal chip surgically inserted between one's thumb and index finger, wrote the authors of the report. Internationally, more than 50,000 people have elected to receive microchip implants to serve.
Yeah, so people already have these devices. People are already using these devices to get in and out of their job, to get in and out of their car. People are already using these devices to do various different things around the house. People are using these Neuralinks and these BCIs to control different items in their house. And the various different things concerning the latest and breaking technology is really being rolled out to work congruent with these micro C-hips. Okay.
Serve as their swipe keys, credit cards, and means to instantaneously share social media information.
Yeah. So it's going to be when one of the main ways it's going to be presented to the public is under the umbrella of convenience. Okay. Oh my goodness, we can just share information just by, touching hands or standing close to each other. Hey, look at all the things I can do, and I don't have to have a wallet. I don't have to have, a phone on me. I can go into the store and just, glide my hand over things. It's so safe. My documents, my records, my money, my information cannot be hacked. Okay, I can't be scammed. So that's how they're going to present it to the masses of people, and the majority of the masses of people are going to bite on it. Okay, and just like everything else that Esau pushes into society, you know, they're going to take it and they're going to run with it. They're going to persuade their loved ones, their friends, their family members to take it also. Okay.
This technology is especially popular in Sweden, where chip implants are more widely accepted to use for gym access, e-tickets on transit systems, and to store emergency contact.
Yeah, and Sweden was one of the first countries, so to speak, to really do heavy for Esau to do heavy test trials. Okay, because you had a large population of people in Sweden. I heard about this years and years ago. That were receiving micro C-hips, to use in their daily lives, to get into their car, like this video speaking about, get into gyms and various different facilities, this, that, and so forth.
Information. End quote. Now, why are these microchip implants particularly interesting to keep an eye on? And according to Revelation, we know that the beast, the Antichrist, will force all people, great and small, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hands or on their foreheads. There is a lot of speculation about what this mark could be. Could it indeed be a microchip implant?
Hey, there you have it. Hey, so hey, people are hey, even outside of the truth, you got people outside of the truth that are, looking at these micro C-hips as being the M.O.T.B. Let's run that back. And I didn't even know that was going to pop up.
Speculation about what this mark could be. Could it indeed be a microchip implant? Or some type of barcode? There is so much speculation surrounding what the mark of the beast will be. One interesting theory is linked to Elon Musk's Neuralink technology. Neuralink hopes to create direct brain-to-computer interfaces that allow people to control digital devices with their thoughts. The interesting thing about Neuralink is that when people look at it, it does bear characteristics that cause concern among some Christians. The implant location. Neuralink is a chip implanted in the brain, forehead region, which echoes the Revelation description of where the mark will be. Economic dependency.
Yeah, and just like we read in Revelation, it said the forehead and the hand. Okay, that was the hint to the Neuralink, these BCIs, and also, the more widely accepted way of people receiving the M.O.T.B is being in their hand. Okay,
If such technologies become gateways to participating in the economy via digital identity, currency, or communication, it aligns with the prophecy that the mark controls buying and selling, normalization through innovation. Perhaps most importantly, the mark of the beast isn't described as being overtly evil. The concern is deception. The mark will likely be presented as a necessary or even benevolent innovation. For example,
and hey, for the most part, hey, whoever made this video, they're on point for the most part. Now some of the visuals and some of the other things that are stated are off, but that's expected. Okay, because the MOTB will be presented just like you said. You know,
the concern is deception. The mark
because Esau Edom, these wicked bacon elites, these wicked Edomite banking families. Okay, the wicked elites. All right, they're the ultimate deceivers. And everything they push is in, a deception. It's in a disguise. Okay, they're presenting it to you like this is going to be great. Present it to you Israelites, man. This is what you need. Okay, this is going to better your life. You're going to be able to become, superhuman. This is the way, right? But ultimately, pursuing the Revelation, the 14th chapter, you receiving that, you know, is going to result in your destruction.
will likely be presented as a necessary or even benevolent innovation. For example, at this stage, none of us know what the actual mark of the beast will look like, but we do know that it's coming.
And the when it's really presented on a high level to the public, it could look very different from what we know concerning these, the grain of rice, the small, micro C hip. Okay, it could look a little bit different from that, you know.
The world is a very different place.
And that's pretty much on that part. That's all I'm going to play on that video. But let me see if I can skip back to the point where. Let me see if I can get back to that point. Salakia, bear with me one minute. Moment. Yeah, here we go.
Or on their foreheads. There is a lot of speculation about what this mark could be. Could it indeed be a microchip?
And it is indeed a micro C hip implant. Okay. And a lot of you other camp leaders are going to have a lot of explaining to do to your congregation, the ones that listen and follow you and learn from you, when the micro C hip is rolled out on the red carpet and is heavily pushed, not just in Babylon the Great, but various other parts of the earth, really the whole earth, essentially, eventually. Okay. Because this is a major, major part of Esau's New World Order program. All right. And he seeks to complete it at all costs by any means. And he's willing to run through anything, run over anything, exterminate anything to get to the completion of his New World Order. Let's go to Revelation, the third chapter, and let's go down to verse. Uh, let's go down to verse 10. This is Revelation 3 and 10. It says, "Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation." And we're approaching the hour of temptation. The hour of temptation is very, very close. All right. You could see a major, major event happen on a high level that the government uses to force people, and they can do it in many ways. You see hey, every day it's an active shooter. Every day it's something major happening. Okay. You have this whole thing with the so-called migrants and the situation with that in Babylon the Great. So there's many different ways they could go about and uh, you know implement it and forcing people, so to speak, forcing them without forcing them in a way, okay, to taking these micro C-hips. It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world. So this is coming upon all the world. It's not just coming upon America. This is going to be a worldwide thing. It says to try them that dwell upon the earth. Okay. And hey, the majority of our people, some of them that even know that they're Israelites, that watch the various different camp videos, etc., failed that trial. You failed the first test concerning the juicy juice. All right. You consented to Esau Edom. You done got injected, not knowing what the hell was in that thing, but you just put your trust in the devil. You just put your trust in your enemy. Okay. So you failed the first test. And some of you were persuaded by the leaders of Israel that you listened to. Okay. It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. So the only way you're not going to take that micro C hip is if the Lord doesn't have you take that micro C hip. Okay. The only way you're going to not take that micro C hip is if you are a part of the elect. If the Most High Yahweh wants you to take that micro C hip, you're going to take it, man. And there's nothing you can do about it. We hope and pray that we're predestined not to take it. We hope and pray that we are a part of the elect. Okay.
Implant or some type of barcode.
Well, the barcode system is going to be, that's another thing that is also a part of these micro C hips. Okay. If we go back to Revelation, the 13th chapter, and go down to verse 18, it says, here's the wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 603 score and six, which is going into Esau's barcode system. All right. A Christian will tell you that it's just the quote unquote antichrist, which is not just one antichrist. There's multiple anti-Hamashiachs. Anyone against Yahushua is anti-Yahushua. Okay. Um, they would tell you that it's just, the Antichrist is going to require you to take a knife and carve three sixes on your forehead, right? These so-called Christians, they ain't got it, man. All right, Christianity is losing, and you can't revive Christianity. you know, these Christians are uh, trying to up their game, so to speak, because this wisdom and knowledge is being pushed heavy throughout the four corners of the earth. So now they're going into the etymology of words. They're using the blue letter. They're doing these various different things. You see these street apologists. Okay, they're trying everything they can to combat, all right, this wisdom, knowledge, and truth. But there's nothing you can do against the truth. Okay, let's get one more scripture and then we'll wrap. Let's go to Revelation, the 14th chapter. And this is the result for taking the M.O.T.B, which is the micro C hip. All right. This is the result. This is which the punishment, okay, the ramifications, the judgment for receiving the M.O.T.B. And you got particular Israelite leaders that are leading you down this path. Whether they've been paid off, okay, whether they're agents, whether they actually believe what they're saying, regardless of the reasons, they're leading you down the path of destruction. This is Revelation 14:9. It says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice If any man worship the beast and his image and receive, okay, and receive his charagma in his forehead or in his hand, whether you take it in your arm, your foot, whether you get a BCI, a Neuralink, oh, well, I got health problems. And this is the only way that they said that, I could get over this disability. I got one arm, and the bionic arm can only be operated if I get the Neuralink or the BCI. Too bad. This is the judgment for it. Whatever you try to fathom in your mind for reason or justification for taking it, guess what? Here's the judgment for taking that, right? It says, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. So there's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. Okay? Anyone who takes that micro C-hip, that Neuralink, that BCI, guess what? Or whatever other titles and abbreviations, okay, they push in the near future, Yahweh Shem Yahushua has a missile just for you. Lord willing, that was edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai Bahashem Rachachakudash. Double honors to the head apostle and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well. Peace and blessings to you, sincere Akim, that are pushing this truth all over the four corners of the earth, week in and week out, in all truth and sincerity. To the next time, shalom.